This video will give a very brief overview of the written statement, which is basically a more readable, focused version of the Mobile Homes Act of 1983. The written statement, or WS, is an agreement between the park owner, which is defined in law as the owner, and the purchaser of a park home, which is defined in law as the occupier. And the WS lays out the terms and conditions between those two parties, the owner and the occupier. The WS will become legally binding on both parties within 6 months, even if it's not signed by either party, so long as no objections have been raised within this period. Throughout this video, we're using screenshots of the actual WS document for Scotland. Please note that the law for England and Wales is different to Scottish law. The WS should be issued to all purchasers within 28 days of the sale being agreed. However, past experience shows that this sometimes doesn't happen, with some owners never issuing a written statement to their occupiers. With the resale or gifting or inheritance of a park home, the previous occupiers should pass on their copy of the WS to the new occupiers. As with the purchase of the park home, they inherit the same terms and conditions as the previous occupier. Let's look in more detail at the written statement itself. It consists of 4 parts. Part 1 details information about the occupier's rights under the 1983 Act. Part 2 contains the particulars of the agreement. Part 3 details the implied terms, which are enshrined in law and cannot be changed. Part 4 lays out the express terms. This is where the owners can insert any additional rules they expect the occupiers to comply with, like the park rules, for example. Part 1 explains briefly that the potential occupier is entering into an agreement with the owner and states the automatic protections given to them under the Mobile Homes Act of 1983. It then goes on to explain that the implied terms in Part 3 of the written statement are applied automatically and cannot be overridden even with the agreement of both parties. It's law. However, the terms in Parts 2 and Part 4 can be changed, but with the agreement of both parties. The right to challenge is also detailed here, along with the explanation that the dispute can be taken to court or arbitration by either party when there is no agreement between both parties. The function of Part 2 is to record all the relevant data, such as the names of both parties, the start date of the agreement, details of the mobile home, make, model, serial number, size, the particulars of the pitch, the size and location on the park, and the home's position on the pitch. It also details what is covered by the pitch fees, when they are due, and review date for them to be reassessed. It's important to check the section headed Additional Charges, as extra fees and charges can be added here, but are not included when the purchaser is advised of the pitch fee. Again, this section cannot have future additional charges added to it without the agreement of the occupier. Part 3 is called the implied terms, which are to be found in the Mobile Homes Act 1983, Schedule 1, Part 1. This section cannot be changed by either party, even if both parties agree, as it's enshrined in law. It covers the following: the duration of the agreement, any repayments by the occupier on termination of the agreement, the sale of the mobile home, gifting of the mobile home, resiting of the mobile home, undisturbed possession of the mobile home, the owner's right of entry to the pitch, the pitch fees and the legal conditions within, the obligations of the occupiers, the obligations of the owners, and very importantly for the rights of the occupiers, how to deal with a qualifying residence association, or QRA. When and where the owner's contact details must be supplied, and there's also a glossary defining various words and phrases used in the agreement. Part 4 is called the express terms. This is the section of the WS where the owners can insert their own rules that they wish the occupiers to follow on the site. The express terms must not conflict with any of the implied terms in Part 3, but these can be changed by agreement between the owner and the occupier. We're showing screenshots from a typical Part 4, but as this is written by the owners, it will vary from site to site. The express terms also cover the occupier's right to station their park home on the site, again the owner's obligations, the occupier's obligations, the communication between the owner and the occupiers, definition of various words and phrases used, and finally the last page is where both parties sign and are witnessed. We hope this has been of interest to you, and thank you very much for watching. If you'd like any further information, please contact us at ScotPRA. Thanks again.